Three, two. All right, it's time to talk with our featured guest, Dr. Robert Soto. Rob, how's it going, man?
It's going great, man. I'm happy to be here.
Nice. If you don't mind me asking, where are you located?
I'm in San Francisco, California, right in Union Square, the heart of the city.
Okay. Have you always lived there or?
I've always lived in the Bay Area. I was born here in San Francisco, just moved kind of throughout the Bay, but been here, yeah, for a long time. So definitely, definitely, this is where I grew up, my neighborhood.
Nice, man. I like that. I like that. If you could, real quick, for anybody thinking to go to San Francisco, where's the spot where you're like, you gotta come here and eat here?
Oh man, ooh, that's I want to say, I mean, you have to go to the Mission and you have to try just, whatever Mexican food in the Mission. There's plenty of La Taqueria. There's just a lot of good Mexican places in the Mission. Um, each neighborhood has its own things there, and so they have like the little tiny spots, but we also have a lot of very like high end restaurants and people doing some really creative stuff. So I don't know, it's all over the place. I'd say even for me, like I have to like look it up. One big one is Cha 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 in it's like Haight Ashbury area. That's a great. I think it's Peruvian food. I can't remember right now,
Hmm.
but
No,
that's
okay.
sorry.
That's
That's
good,
a
man.
lot of different things just going through your mind when you start talking about food.
I know you're like Michigan, cha-cha. Yeah, Michigan is nice out there.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Okay. So if you could, Rob, tell us a little bit about your past, your present. How'd you get to where you are today?
Okay, sure. Yeah, so I'm in San Francisco. I've been practicing for about 15 years now, so it's been a while. Kind of creeps up on you. I currently right now I'm mainly doing cosmetic dentistry. We see patients for veneers every day, some point of the process, prepping or delivering veneers, seeing new patients. And really, it's been a bit of a journey. So it took a while to get there. That has been what I've wanted to do the entire time. But definitely started off with general dentistry. Got into some really good associates after dental school. Got into some good associateships,
Mhm.
places that were doing cosmetic dentistry, so that I can learn the ropes and really see what these doctors were doing. And these tend to be like higher end practices, so you can see how they cater to patients. I think that's like a big thing is making sure that you are providing high level of dentistry and customer service, and that's what I'm trying to do now. So we have a very nice office. It was remodeled in like 2017, but went with architects that design things maybe more like a nice restaurant or a hotel as opposed to
Mm.
just a typical dental office. But we're trying to get the clientele to feel that they are in the right place when they step foot in the door.
Nice, dude. So then, how long were you associating ship, or how long was your associateships for?
Let's see. So I think it was maybe 4 years of associating before I purchased the practice, and I did. So I've associated a number of places. This particular practice, which was, I guess, at a different location at the time, I worked for the doctor for 2.5 years, and then I purchased the practice from him, and then he became my associate for 2.5 years before he retired. And I was only working here a couple of days a week. And then we kind of flip flopped, and I started working here more, and he was working less. So it was an interesting transition. I don't think it's a very common transition because it seems like nowadays people, the new person comes in if they're buying a practice
Mhm.
from someone else, and the old person is just gone, and that is very often a mutual thing. Like the old doctor, it just sparked in their head that they're done, so they're selling their place, and then the new person, they only want them there for a short while because they don't want to they want to do stuff different. So my transition was long. It's probably long because I knew I wanted to learn from this doctor because he was fantastic, but at the same time, I wasn't sure if I was going to be buying this place. It was still like I wasn't sure if he was going to retire, or when that was going to happen. It was only 2 days a week. So eventually that just sort of came about as I got more involved in the practice.
Yeah. Did you, when you decided to take on this associateship, was there already written down where like, hey, there's a possible buyout or no?
Yeah. I mean, there was a possible. Yeah, I would be like the first offer, if that was the case. But it was really. You know what it was is that he was older, but at the same time, he just seemed like he had like a lot of energy. Like he looked like one of those guys who could have worked for, until he was gone,
Yeah, yeah.
and also he had a history of having a lot of associates, over the years. I mean, he'd only have one associate, but that person may have lasted 2 years to 10 years, and he just kept getting new ones, over the years. So I didn't really know where I would fall in that. I knew the opportunity was there, and I already knew I'd jump on it if I could, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah. So you decided to go with this one as opposed to the other ones that you were working for, or no, this is the only one that they offered you.
Well, no, the timing was just on this one, but I was starting to look around at the same time that he did offer, so I would have probably gotten to something else if this didn't come about. So it's timing. I think timing is everything. Recognizing opportunity, and and then seizing it. So that's that. I mean, that's kind of a, I don't know, maybe a common thread in how I do things.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's really good. Okay, so then you worked for the doctor until you owned your own, until you took over. What were some things that I guess from all your associateships that you decided like, oh man, these are some really good systems or things that I want to take into the practice I eventually own? And then what were some things where you're like, I never want to do that crap. Like I never want to do what you guys are doing right now.
Honestly, for me, it just came down to like high quality dentistry and spending a lot of time with patients. I mean, that appealed to me, and I know that doesn't appeal to everyone. Some people are a little more, volume is the way to go, and there's something with that too, because when you do spend more time with patients, hey, if like you have an hour and a half for your new patient, and that if that person doesn't show up, well, that's an hour and a half hole, right?
Yeah.
I worked at other practices where we were just sort of like pounding through dental work, and we took every insurance there was, it seemed like, and that was rough. And I feel like you're sort of exhausted. Nobody appreciates what you're doing. It's just sort of doctor versus patients. And
Mhm.
the doctor, at least at this practice, I mean, he like I said, he took his time with patients. He really got through to them about their dental problems, and I feel like he was able to even just for like the average patient, he'd get them to do like all of their dental work, not just whatever the insurance covered, and all that had to do with him, taking time with them, sitting down with them, showing them pictures of their teeth, and not in like any sort of manipulative way. I'm not saying that that's like what everybody does, but
Mhm.
just from what I had seen prior to meeting him, that's what it was. It was almost like showing someone a what I had seen was like showing someone like a blurry picture of a metal filling and be like, you need this, but he's more like showing them like how their teeth have broken down over the years and why a comprehensive approach makes sense. So I just got to see from him like people maybe coming in a little bit more on guard, and then like embracing his office. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I really really liked, is this sort of comprehensive approach, and it just made a lot of sense to me, and it's really good because patients appreciate this. They appreciate your office, they appreciate what you're doing for them, and at the end, you just have you build like really good relationships.
Yeah. How long are your like I would say your new patient exams or visits?
They're about an hour and a half, and then, well, that's just seeing me, and then if they're gonna get a cleaning, they're there for another, an hour for that, and I see again a lot of cosmetic patients, so it does depend, if I get someone who's here who's very, like ready to go for cosmetic dentistry, they may schedule their exam and their X-rays, and we might be doing teeth whitening on that day and the cleaning. We're scanning their teeth so we can get a wax up, designed for their teeth. So we might be doing all of it. So basically, I will meet them that one day, and the next appointment, we're preparing their teeth for veneers. So we try to get a lot of stuff as much as possible. And if the patient is like, talking to my receptionist and telling them like, I want this done as soon as possible and I'm ready to go, then
Mhm.
I guess the patient could be here for like 3 hours on that first day. That's if they're like ready. So other than that, if they're like still on the fence, about an hour and a half with me.
Gotcha. Okay. So in that hour and a half is where you're like building that rapport, talking to
Right.
them. Anything specific that you feel like we should be doing more of when it comes to these new patient exams to get like that because you like you said, you spend that hour and a half and you're like, all right, I hope you can understand this now. And then they're like, I'll go check a second opinion, right? And then you're like, where do I drop the ball in this hour and a half that I felt
Yeah.
like was a waste, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think, well, this is, I do things a little bit different, but like when you're meeting the person, um, I like to keep it casual. So I'm in a consultation room, not in the operatory, where I feel like that's where like the anxiety already starts for some patients.
Mm.
So we're in a consultation room and just going over their paperwork, and no lab coat or anything like that. I'm usually wearing like honestly, I'm usually wearing like tennis shoes or something. And I mean maybe scrubs or maybe just this, but regardless, try to keep it casual.
Mhm.
And you're just sort of chatting about their past experiences, in dentistry and things like that. And a lot of stuff comes up in addition to their medical history. And again, this is cosmetic stuff. So I really think that for me and relating it to general dentistry is like trying to figure out like what are your goals, like what do you want out of your smile, and sort of setting the tone like right now that first off, it's not all technical. You don't want to say all the technical stuff about the cosmetic dentistry, just like, yes, we are going to make that smile look amazing so that you do have that confidence, so that you do feel just amazing about your smile and you don't have to shy away from photos and selfies and all this stuff. So it's so you're getting them excited like as soon as they come in, and for me again with the cosmetic stuff, you can ask them, what it is about their smile that they don't like, not just visually about their smile, but like what does it mean to them, and they'll tell you all sorts of stuff that how it's actually affected them. So yeah, in that's like the first like 15 minutes or 10 minutes of the appointment, and we are already like connecting, and then we bring the patient back and then we start our examination. So just having some really good conversation before you get rolling is important.
Yeah, that's good, man. Have you ever felt like you never connected with a specific patient and just kind of didn't
Never.
work?
Yeah, I mean, I do sometimes. So yeah, let me give you a little bit more of the backstory. So what I do is a lot of virtual consultations. Okay.
Hmm.
So if a new patient is sitting in my chair today, I've already sent them a video ahead of time, just recording like this, like I'm a little box in the corner, and
Mhm.
they've sent me some pictures of their teeth, and I've already kind of said, told them some suggestions about their smile. So the way it works is they send me a couple of photos, um, and they say, whatever. They may give me some details like, hey, I really want to do 8 or 10 veneers on my upper teeth, or they may just say like, I hate my smile, and I have a photo of their smile, and then I'll find some photo examples. I'll pop up on my screen. I'll put down like a price range that I think would be or it would fix their smile. And then so I send them this video, and they usually don't know what they're getting. It's just a virtual consultation. So
Yeah.
they end up seeing me on a screen talking about their teeth. I've done this for free. I've just sent them it could be a 5 minute, sometimes it goes all the way up to like 10 minutes. And most of the time they're like blown away. They're like, they did not expect this. And again, it's free. And there's a little button, if they understand the cost, how long it's going to take, and they're excited by the examples that really like pertain to them, then they're gonna click a button that says, let's get scheduled, we'll reach out. And now when they show up, they're ready to go. They already know how much it's gonna cost. They already know what we're gonna do, and they're just like, let's get moving. But yeah, but before that, sure, when I wasn't doing that type of consultation and I'm meeting new patients, yeah, I definitely have people that you don't connect with because people are like a little bit on guard. They're not, I don't know, everyone's a little bit different, and you can see like some people, they are just not ready to like open up and just be super friendly with you. But I do think that the approach of taking your time with them and really just coming from a genuine, I want to take care of you, eventually they will open up.
Yeah, man. So you have like a lot of operations going on in the back, like as far as like, so you just record a video just like this, like through Zoom, or how do they send the inquiry? Like they're like, hey man, I want veneers, and then you just send them a video like through
Yeah,
Zoom.
so almost all my marketing is on Instagram. Okay. I mean, I
Mhm.
do other stuff. I mean, we have a good Yelp page. We've got occasionally we'll do Google AdWords, but everything sort of leads back to, and even like on the website, everything leads back to like a link to submit photos for a virtual consultation. So they click on that link and they just put in their name, their email, their phone number, type in, what do you want to change about your smile or something like that. And then and then it says upload a selfie and upload a photo of your smile. So hopefully they upload both of them. Sometimes they'll only just do just like a close up of their smile because they don't want to show their whole face. And then and that's it. So the marketing is that having a strong Instagram page, having a strong online presence, brings people to this page. So I post at least 3 things a week. Usually it's a cosmetic smile, case, nice before and after. And when I post one of these cases, it obviously resonates with some people, and then they all of a sudden I'll look at my email and it says like, hey, someone wants a virtual consultation, and then I'll just take my time and I'll do that. So it depends. Some weeks, you'll just get a few of those things. Some weeks it's like overwhelming, and it takes me a few weeks to even like catch up to all of them. But every day I'm usually sending something out. So like I sent out, I think like probably six consultations today, and that got me caught up. And then before I checked in, there was another one right now. So but it took a while to build to that too. This is not just like over the night, like make this, sign up with these consultation things and it'll just happen. You have to have the reputation, the photos, and the presence out there to pull it off.
Yeah. Man, so how did you get a strong Instagram or like what do you recommend for
Mhm.
people for the practices listening who are like, man, I'm posting my free consultations up there, man, and I only got like 30 followers or something, right? Like, how do we build to that to where it's like, hey, that's a huge way to get new patients?
Yeah, that's a difficult question because I feel like I don't want to say anything that's like BS and isn't actually going to work. Okay.
Mhm.
But I'll say something else that's outside of Instagram. Instagram works for me, but there are other ways to get these consultations to you.
Mhm.
That's my avenue for it. But I do think, I mean, okay, so photography is so important. If you do good work, and a lot of dentists do great work, but their photos suck. Okay.
Mhm.
And they know it, they do the work and then they go to take a picture of it. And it's like, that does not represent what I just did. So it's not even just like the picture itself. It could just be like off angle. Like, why did you take it from like under their chin? Like, that's not gonna, even if the angle itself isn't gonna work. It just needs to be straight on. So I think having good photography, um, and then posting, you've got to post about yourself too. You have to be willing to put yourself out there. They can be little simple things where you're just sort of making a selfie and talking, a selfie video, and just talking about some aspects of, I mean, I think cosmetic dentistry is the best because it's just like something that people are actually interested in. Not everyone wants to listen to the basics of dentistry, gum disease, and things like that. But I think good photography of the cases that you have, even like the steps of the cases. So you can have like one case under your belt or a couple of cases under your belt. But if you did take pictures of the different steps, you have a number of different posts that you can show. And that way you actually have things that are going to consistently go up. And I'm fortunate where I can keep posting new stuff, but once you get to so many, you can start recycling them. I mean, nobody's going to scroll down for that long, before they get
Yeah.
to your older stuff. So posting is important. There's different times of day that you should be posting. You shouldn't be posting in the middle of the night or anything like that. Making sure you're doing the right hashtags. I think you have to really just take a look at the aesthetic of what your page looks like. No filler things, no like happy Halloween from your dentist, stuff like that. I think you start looking around at people that are successful. You can always reach out to different local people. I'm sure you must have had podcasts about this already that you can refer patients back to. But I just think that like when you look at it, this has to look like something that's attractive to you, but yeah, it is definitely difficult to just, especially nowadays, to like keep gaining followers. But I do think that you have to also look where you are. Um, Even in San Francisco, like it's a major city, but it's not LA, it's not Beverly Hills. There's not a cosmetic dentist on every single corner. So if you're in your small town, you need to make sure that you are hashtagging the things in your small town,
Mm.
your location, just, I don't know, put it at the popular place, the popular park in your town or something like that. So that hopefully it just gets caught on. Um, and I know people, like, I just joined TikTok and it's like not a big thing for me right now, but I'm actually surprised with how it's already like bringing patients in. And this was literally a couple, 2, 3 weeks ago, I started a page,
Uh-huh.
but even that, you could do the TikTok stuff and you can repost that to your Instagram these days. So yeah, I mean, I feel like you just have to be kind of on it, and hopefully you like doing it, because that's probably the key to success. If you don't like doing it, I can't imagine someone having a lot of success with it. um I guess you could pay people to do it for you. That's always a thing. So
Yeah. But you do it all then, right?
I do it all, and it's
Okay.
very time consuming, but again, I do like it. And I try to like allocate certain times to do it, so I'm not just like always, trying to do it. So if I can make like, a couple or three posts at a time and then just put them out, as needed, that's helpful.
Yeah. Nice, dude. So you're on TikTok now too, and you're already getting new patients from there?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, it's very short, but like when I'm doing these consultations, it says where they come from, and it's like every time Instagram, or it's like a referral, like another patient. But then like I just got a couple that just said TikTok, and I'm like, wow, really? Like I feel like I mean, I don't think I have any. I feel like no followers on there, but you put something on there, and it does get a lot of views and likes. So
Yeah. And that's the same stuff you're posting on Instagram or different?
yeah, actually it is. Like I just have on my current Instagram page, I have a fair amount of video, and it's like not even something that I try to like consistently do, but I have enough of them where I just sort of like grabbed it and just threw that on TikTok.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Cause I want to say I found you on Instagram and I was like, this guy's killing it. He's doing a lot of stuff. Right.
Yeah, you
And
did reach
then,
out to me on Instagram, right?
yeah. And so from that point on, I was like, I want to see what's coming from this. You know what I mean? And what's
Yeah,
happening. So that's good, man. That's really, because I know a lot of people are trying on Instagram, but then you see those posts, right? Where it's like free consultation now through November or like
yeah.
free whitening for life. And then you're kind of like, what? Who are you talking
Yeah,
to?
yeah,
You know?
yeah. I mean, it's like I don't know. I think the reputation has to be there. The proof of the work has to be there. And I always tell patients too, or tell other doctors too, like, it pays to be patient, when you're posting things. You don't want to just put anything out there. If you're trying to attract a certain patient, and let's say like a solid demographic for you might be like, men or women in their, late 20s to, I don't know, early 40s or something like that. You really don't want to be posting 3 denture cases in a row, of some guy in their 70s. Fantastic for them, but someone's gonna see this and be like, oh, well, that's not the dentist for me.
Mhm. Yeah, no, that's true. Hey, so Rob, have you always thought about just doing pure cosmetic, pure veneers, or how did that come about?
Yeah, so 100%. That's what I wanted to do. When I was a marine biology major, and I just was like, I don't know. I just didn't necessarily. I wanted to look into something else, and I happened to go to some like random party with. It's like a dinner party, and there's all these people from USC dental school there. I knew nothing about dentistry or dental school or anything, and these guys were all pulling out. They were all looking at X-rays, okay, like at a dinner party, and they were all like just geeking out over these X-rays, and I'm just like, what are you guys on right now? Like, what's going on? Like, I don't know why you're so into this. And they're just like, oh, well, then one guy was just telling me, dentistry is a good profession and how excited they were and all this stuff. And he hooked me up with his uncle who was a dentist. I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. And that was in San Jose. And then and the doctor happened to be going through his AACD certification. So he was like working with a modeling agency, and he was working on like 5 different patients to do different cosmetic procedures on them. And so I kind of like walked into this. He was a general dentist, but he was trying to do this stuff and taking pictures, and he was just really into it. And he even went from like this like run of the mill, very basic dental practice to a high end practice that he had built on his own, and he was doing, and I like watched, so I was working, I ended up working for the guy,
Mhm.
just like as an assistant, and then just watching him do this to go from the regular practice to the high end practice. And I mean, it was just like, yes, this is what I want to do. I went into school thinking I want to do cosmetic dentistry. That's like all I really cared to do. And it worked out. So it took a long time though. So
Yeah. When you acquired the practice you're in right now, was it
yeah.
just cosmetic or is it general and then you had to turn it into what it is?
So he was a general dentist, and but he did like a lot of comprehensive dentistry. He went to like all the different classes, and so he was really good at um again at comprehensive, dentistry. And so people would come in, and he'd do a lot of work on them, and that would include cosmetic dentistry, and he was into cosmetics, but that definitely was not like his main thing. He might have
Mhm.
done a nice cosmetic case each month. And that's big. I mean, that's not something that everyone does, one or two cases a month.
Mhm.
So I did get to see it, and got a bigger taste of it than most offices. So lucky to find the guy.
So then how did you transition it to just like, because I feel like that'd be like a dream for a lot of people, like, oh, to just
Yeah.
do veneers and
Yeah.
cosmetic work, you know? How did you make that happen?
So again, it's something I always wanted to do. And then I think and I was doing like more and more of it, and just, pushing it on the Instagram. One interesting thing was I can't, well, this is a number of years ago. It's like I decided to just I started making like a few YouTube videos online, just going over cosmetic dentistry, and so I feel like those would help me out, let you become the experts, even pre Instagram. At one point, Instagram, a buddy of mine, who was big on Instagram, this is like 2015 or 16, and he was big back then. He had like 12,000 followers. And he's like, you should do this. Like, I know you like cosmetic dentistry, you take photos and stuff, so you should do this. So I got on, and I ended up, that was really helpful. And at one point, I made two separate websites, which I thought was a smart move on my behalf, because
Mhm.
I had a general dentistry website, and then I had a cosmetic dentistry website, because I wanted the website to just look like this office only does veneers. I wasn't like willing to just like only have the one website because that was like something I was trying to, strive for, but wasn't, doing nearly as much cosmetic dentistry. But I think that was really helpful because, if I look back and look at the city or in San Francisco, there's probably only two websites that were only cosmetic dentistry in San Francisco at the time, or maybe even in maybe the whole Bay Area. So that makes you look like the expert. You don't want to like scroll through all the other fluff, like
Yeah.
gums and basic stuff, and then go like, oh, looks like he does veneers too. You want to be just like, bam, he does veneers and cosmetic dentistry. And I think when COVID hit, that was also like a real turning point. Like after COVID, it's like, well, we're gonna go back to work. And it's funny because I just remember thinking like, I guess I could see like, a bunch of patients every day and deal with their emergencies, and they're afraid to see me and I'm afraid to see them because it just started with COVID. Or I could just see like one patient a day, like
Yeah.
and so I started like pushing even harder. It's funny because I remember I did like a giveaway, a set of veneers with my dental lab, and the dental lab, they don't have like a heck of a lot going on at that point either. And that was like also a big turning point, because that, everyone's sitting on their phone and stuff, and looking at themselves in the mirror. And that was like, I don't know, something just blew up at that point where I really started getting a big influx of cosmetic patients. So it became like, okay, this is reality. Like I could probably not um have to see the general dentistry anymore, and then we have an associate, and just have to try to get the general patients to be more comfortable with him, and that's where we are right now.
Nice. So it took that like mindset shift to be like, all right, we're gonna not dip our toe in the water, but we're gonna have to like, you know what I mean? Dive in here to just do veneers or
Right.
cosmetic work, right?
Yeah. So I know I touched upon this earlier when we were talking separately, but yeah, I think that if you're to do this, to really go all in, like you have to go all in. Like you cannot So again, now our website, it is only cosmetic
Mhm.
dentistry. The design of the office, it's a certain aesthetic. Again, it's more like hotels and nice restaurants type of aesthetic, as opposed to something that you walk in and you're sitting in the waiting room and you're in a dental office and you're sitting here, you don't exactly know where you are. Maybe it's a
Mhm.
spa or something. So there's that. But also, for yourself, when it comes to general dentistry, you have to like tell yourself, like, I'm not doing general dentistry anymore. You have to tell your staff, like, this is what we're doing. We're doing cosmetic dentistry. I still have an associate. Truthfully, yes, I do have to see some general dentistry, but it's like less and less and less. The mindset is there. The whole staff understands that, like, we're trying to see cosmetic patients, and if we have a hole in the schedule, to just not fill it with fluff, like some fillings, something just very, just some minor stuff. Because what you do is you're going to put your back against the wall. If you set aside a time and said, this whole half day is only cosmetic dentistry, and if for some reason that slot does not fill, then don't just fill it with fillings, because you will get creative. You will, like, figure out something that you haven't done before. You'll reach out to patients that were like soft inquiries before. You'll do something different on your Instagram page, or maybe contact this, I don't know, just you'll do something. You'll get creative and it'll be different every single time. So I think that's a big thing, is making sure that you value the spaces that you might have. Hopefully you don't have too many of those, but hopefully when you do have a hole in your schedule, it's a very productive hole. You're not just disappearing
Yeah.
or again just doing like some very general stuff that does not help you get more of these cosmetic cases.
Yeah. And it's kind of scary, man, because you're like, there's that hole, and then you're like, okay, it's tomorrow. We're tomorrow. Nothing's filled the hole yet. And there's
Yeah.
people who I can move up, you know what I mean, to get their work done. And so you really got to be committed, I feel, right? Like just,
Yeah, but it's funny, you'd be surprised, it's like it's well, I surprise myself sometimes when this stuff happens. If somebody cancels, I mean, obviously you can do the normal things, like, let's look out future into the schedule in the future and try to start moving people forward. Obviously, that's just like some minor effort that you have to do. But then again, it's like you start reaching out a little bit more. And it is interesting because I'll get like I have this consultation portal, like, go online here, but I also have like DMs, in my Instagram page. And it's like I don't always try to respond to those, because I want to, do it this other way, because I feel like it's more organized. You're doing it in order. But yeah, hey, if there's some time, just go to DMs, and that person who just said, like, how much, like, that was the whole thing.
yeah.
It's like I just, start a conversation with them. It's like I have the time, and then, I mean, you could have multiple conversations going, and next thing you know, it's like you actually have a very solid patient coming in. So I don't know. It's just a different way of doing things, and it's actually fun, because it's, especially like with social media, it's a lot more casual than the typical, like, I'm the doctor and you're coming in to see me, and all the formalities can be kind of gone. It's like, I don't know. It's a lot
Yeah.
more it's a lot more relaxed.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when they see you like through the virtual like consultation, right? They're like, I know him. I know Rob, right? Like
Yeah.
he's already seen my mouth technically. You know what I mean? Like I just got to go in there now and talk to him a little bit more. So it builds that rapport like tighter. You
Well,
know what I
it's
mean?
crazy too. So I mentioned, like, having your own stuff online. Like, I don't post like a ton of pictures of like my family and other just random things that I do. I do put some of that stuff in my stories, yeah. So I do more personal stuff in my stories. But it is funny because patients come in and they like, I feel like I know you. Like, you got 3 kids, they're all, like, whatever. And like, oh, I saw you went to Europe or whatever, and it's funny and it's fine, because I don't put like crazy, stuff up, personal things up there. But I think it's cool, and it just sort of opens up another discussion to have, with them about their families and their
Hmm.
vacations and stuff like that. So, but that's the thing, is when it comes to cosmetic dentistry, a huge thing that I should mention is that people are coming to you as the individual. They're not coming to, San
Hmm.
Francisco Cosmetic Smiles, whatever. They're coming to see Rob Soto, and that's it. So if they know you because they see some stuff online about you, they obviously know your work. That's what they're coming for, you know.
Yeah, man, that's really good advice. That's true. So you want to put yourself a little bit more out there, not too well, whatever you're comfortable with, right?
You
Kind of
can,
thing.
yeah, you could do that. You don't want to let, I mean, probably, somewhat of a fine line. Obviously, you don't want to damage your reputation, you know.
No, yeah, I completely get you. Okay, awesome, man. So let's dive into your business a little bit right now. What or how many patients are you getting monthly right now, would you say?
Monthly new patients, that kind of varies. I would say it's got to be probably about maybe, I think I want to say about 20 new patients a month.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of them are going to be cosmetic. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. And then right now, how many days are you open out of the week?
So our office is open 5 days a week. Again, between myself and my associate, I'm here for, he's here for.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. And right now, how many employees do you have?
There are 11 total.
11 total. So how'd you hire them? Like, where'd you find them?
So again, this office has been around for a long time before me. So we have four employees out of the 11. Well, I guess, yeah, who have already been here forever, like 18, 20 years. So there's a lot of rapport with them, especially for all the general patients who have been coming here for a very long time. Um, so that's good. That's probably just more about like having good relationships and keeping those
Mhm.
great employees. As far as newer employees go, I mean, just regular job postings and kind of, it's interesting. Also, just sort of getting better at hiring and just recognizing talent and good people because, in my experience, it's it's hard. It's just hard, to kind of go through like all these processes and try to find out who they are. Like, but if you find someone who's sitting in front of you and you're like, you just sort of connect, to me at least, if I just sort of connect with them and I just go like, man, this person looks like they fit my practice, they look like they're responsible, I can just tell they have, a good head on their shoulders. Like, now I'm hiring that person on the spot. Like, I don't want them to leave the office because
Mhm.
someone else is going to recognize that too. And it's funny, my assistant already knows about this, but like, I remember I went through this like hiring, and then first assistant who comes in, she's fantastic, she's great, but I'm like, that's the first one, I don't want to bother with this. So, or I don't want to, sorry, hire her too quick and make a bad decision. So then I interview so many more people, and then come back to her, and of course she's automatically hired. Somebody hired her on the spot, and now I got to pay her like way more to like basically take her away from that other job.
Yeah.
I should have hired her on the spot. And so she's been here for, I don't know, a few years now. And then same thing, the next assistant. So that one I learned my lesson, and she's sitting in front of me, and I'm just like, you're hired, you're hired. She's like, I gotta go to another. She's like, I gotta go to another interview. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just letting you know you're hired, and just come back after that interview, okay?
Yeah, go conversate and then come back at.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, I mean, I don't know if that always works, but I kind of have something similar with with a hygienist as well. And I think if there's someone good in front of you and you just feel that, that's okay. Obviously, you gotta see the resume and stuff too, but hopefully
Yeah.
that's there.
Nice, man. Okay. Was that ever an issue, Rob, where you know what I mean? You kind of like started taking over the practice and some people were like, I've been here for 30 years or 20 years. Like, I know, like the office manager or something. Did anybody like kind of bump heads or no?
Again, I had that long transition. It was like a 5-year transition, so I'm not really introducing a lot of new things to the office. It was just more like a pass the baton kind of thing.
Hmm.
So that wasn't so bad. I do think that the one big issue that people have when you're going from an office that is well established, older doctor, lots of staff has been here for a long time, is that they're retired. They've got the retirement plan in place, the medical care in place. They have like every benefit possible, and it's like really good stuff too. So it's all very expensive. So you, as the new doctor, you're like, that is a very stressful thing to have all these things not only in place because you're learning on the fly and having to call these different companies, but also
Hmm.
just like having to take over those things. Those are things that if you're a new practice, you're building up to those things, and you're not just like, and like, like the vacation time. I'm basically now the new boss, and I've got staff who have, I have a staff member who had 4 weeks of paid vacation, plus 10 holidays paid, plus her birthday off paid, plus every other Friday off paid, and she's the highest salary or per hour employee. So I'm like, oh my goodness, like I'm paying this guy, this person, this woman, like everything, and
Yeah.
that's the rapport that she had with the previous doctor. They were like partners,
Mhm.
for so many years, and I'm just like, sure, I'll pay her all that too. So that's
Yeah.
tough, but but I think she understood what was going on and what she was getting, and I feel like she was very helpful, and so that worked out. So I don't know, maybe that doesn't always work out that way, but she knew what she was getting, and she put in effort to show for it.
That's nice, man. Awesome. And then what systems would you say, besides the new patient experience, because I feel like that's pretty unique too, but what systems would you say are unique in your practice right now?
Unique, man. So I don't know. Again, this is we doing mainly cosmetics. We
Mhm.
have staff that's like really great, and I do feel like like my front desk, they've been doing this stuff for so long that it's gotten to the point where I used to, like, I wanted to know how to do everything in the office so that I could, so that if somebody left, that I could, handle that and teach the next person. But I've lost that. Like, there's no way. They're so deep into their own jobs at this point, that it's really just super important. We have two front desks up there, that someone's always, if someone new has to come in, someone's always there to train the other person. Again, this just the cosmetic stuff, really, that's like our biggest system that we work on, is like a lot of patient, a lot of a lot of dental offices, when it comes to cosmetic dentistry, it's like the patient comes in, they're going to get their exam, they're interested in cosmetics, and it's going to be a lot of appointments before they get to start their work. There's like workups that they have to do. There's
Mhm.
photography sessions they have to do. They have to do all these things. And for me, I think the system is, you meet me online. I see your teeth ahead of time. You come in, we do everything. So I saw a patient today. Again, I met her online. I already gave her some options. I already gave her the fees. She came in here. We sat here for about an hour and a half. We did her exam. We scanned her teeth. We did everything to prepare her for getting veneers. And now her next appointment is going to be a teeth whitening and a cleaning, because she needs that stuff. And then we're going to do her veneers. So I've had a lot of patients. I remember I had a patient who came in, and he was just like fed up. It was almost like a second opinion after
Mhm.
a year and like a dozen appointments with his dentist, and he's wearing temps on this side and temps on that side, and they're going to work on the bottom, and then eventually they're going to work on the top. He comes in, he's like, there's got to be a better way. And in like 5 weeks, in 3 appointments in 5 weeks, we just like wrapped him all up. We just took off all the temporary stuff, did everything, and then he was just he's like, every time I see him, it was like, it was like a year and a half ago. Every time I see him, he's still like shocked something didn't go wrong. Like, why don't I have problems? Like, my dentist said we were taking all these steps because it would be too problematic to like do it all together. So for me, a lot of the systems are more about efficiency with something that traditionally is not efficient. So it's something that's more like climbing a mountain. It's like we're
Yeah.
trying to make it so that it's just very easy for patients.
Huh. So efficiency then, right? When it comes to not just your systems in-house, but like when you're working on the patient.
Yeah, working on patients too. I mean, this is all, it's all about like giving the patient a good experience, and efficiently, consistently giving like amazing results. And I feel like, yeah, there are a lot of systems in place, on the actual clinical end. My assistants, they do amazing setups. um, we take photos of patients. You got one assistant loading up the photos. You got a front desk person organizing all the photos and labeling them. I come in, I sit down, I basically I'm all about videos. I make like a little video presenting all the photos to my laboratory as like a presentation, and then boom, there goes all the instructions. So yeah, everything happens. You know, the one assistant's sending out our scan, making sure the dates are all correct on it. So you know, there's a lot of balls in the air for each patient, and each patient needs to know that they're the important patients, and their case is the most important thing going on right now. And we have multiple cases going on at the same time, but you carve out time for each of them to make sure that you know they know that their case is being treated with just you know the utmost importance.
Do you ever like follow up with the patient like, hey, we're on this stage right now, we're on this stage, or now you just like tell them go home, I'll give you a call?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of follow up. You know, there's you know we're doing the work. Um, you know, there's just some back and forth that happens. You know, after I meet them, you know, I ask them to send me like some inspiration photos of their teeth. You know, and once we get that email, you know, we're confirming that we got it. If I think the patient is a little bit more like needing the feedback, I will, you know, I'll reply back and say something about it. You know, these are important. I see you like these type of canines or this color. You know, I don't always have to do that. Usually the rapport is already there. They see the work, they see the stuff on my website, on Instagram. So I feel like there's already this comfort. They don't have to hover over me. That's why they showed up, is because they already know that they're going to get great results. So I feel like, you know, without that, they might be hovering over you more and really needing a lot of hand holding. But there's still hand holding, you know, like there's
Yeah.
different phases. We have to do the temporary veneers, and then you know I will call them and talk to them. I give them my cell phone, you know, for any if they have any emergencies, and you know part of the process is to make it so that we're not going to have any emergencies, you know. So
Yeah.
there's certain things that you can do. If I think this person's going to have more pain, I'm going to prescribe them this. If I think this person needs like I don't know, sometimes people walk out here, they're so numb you can't see their smile. And I can also tell they're like pretty anxious about their procedures. Like I'll have them come back, like, hey, come back in 2 days. You know, we'll look at your temporary veneers, we'll take new photos, we'll scan them again, we'll make adjustments to them. I want to make sure that you're happy with these, and then we'll use this design for our final veneers, our final design. So
Mhm.
so yeah, each patient, you know, you definitely have to kind of cater to them. But it's all fine. You know, the goal is to get an amazing result, and an amazing result really depends on what the patient's expectations are and how specific they are in their design, how much they want to input on that. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely easier these days because I have a lot of experience under my belt. But yeah, it was, you know, it builds up. You know, it's not always easy. You almost realize like, hey, I'm not having a lot of trouble, and I used to have a lot of trouble. Like I guess the experience is starting to, you know, really pay off. It's not, yeah. So you just sort of can navigate, you know, situations better.
Nice, man. So then one last question I want to ask you is like, from the moment I guess you decided to take over this practice, or you did the acquisition right till today, till right now, what's been some of your biggest struggles or fails or pitfalls?
Um, I think I think for me there might have been um so just doubt in general. You know,
Mhm.
the practice, again, you know, going back to what we're talking about, experience, the practice ran so smooth, and the doctor was so good. I mean, he was just incredible, you know. But part of that is experience. You know, he could walk into an operatory, and you know, and he just very calm and already had that rapport with patients, you know. So he just explained something simply, and they always got it. They always felt comforted. Staff, you know, if there's staff issues, he was very good at handling those things. But again, these are all experience things. And then when stuff doesn't go right, you sort of doubt yourself. You know,
Mhm.
staff does leave, you know, from time to
Yeah.
time. Luckily, we have a lot that have stayed over the years. But it's like, oh my gosh, like how was he able to keep all of his his people? So I think there's just like doubt that comes into play when you run into problems. Why wasn't the previous dentist having these problems? Why are you having these problems? Um, and then even just like, are you making the right moves? So I don't think these are like any like big failures, but I just feel like, letting the weight of the business, the weight of business decisions hover over you and not make you feel so great, or make you worry about making different decisions that do change things. I feel like you don't have to let that happen. You can. I could have trusted my instincts more, and it builds up. You start to realize, like, hey, we moved locations, and that was
Mhm.
a fantastic idea, and I wasn't so sure about that, at first. And again, sort of going out on a limb and saying, like, just cosmetic dentistry, it's like, this could be terrible. We've been great with the general dentistry, and we have good patients and good fees. Like, are people going to just like jump ship and be like, oh, this is not the right doctor for me? But that did not happen. So I feel like
Mm.
stuff could have happened even sooner for me if I took the leap a little sooner.
Yeah. Why'd you guys move locations?
Well, very specifically in San Francisco downtown, there's a main building which we're in. It's called 450 Sutter. 100 at the time there were 115 dental offices in one building.
Man.
So that plus associates, you've got a lot of dentists in one building. And the other building, 490 Post, is where I'm at now. It's I don't know how many are in here, but that's a 26-story building. It's a 17-story building. They're 2 blocks from each other, and they both have a ton of dentists in it. One of them was just like a leased space. The 450 study you just leased. This one I had the opportunity to buy the space, so it's a condo. So I bought the space, remodeled it, and moved in. And it was one of these things where at the time it's like, oh man, I know people do this. I know people like remodel, their space in this leased building, but I don't really want to do that.
Yeah.
If I want to go all out, like, and the opportunity is there to purchase a space, that's what I want to do. So that's what we did. And then you feel more comfortable about actually going all out as far as, nice design, nice finishes, spending the money on these things. So that's how it was for me. People do it in the lease space, but it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Man, so you've done a lot, man. You've gone through a lot. How has it, I guess for those thinking to being like, I want to do what Rob's doing, how has it all affected your personal life?
um, it's good. It's good and it's busy. So you need to have an understanding family, okay,
Mhm.
who's willing to support you and understand that you got to work the long hours. Um, but I think I don't know. I think it's a really great thing. Just whatever, owning your own business in general. The cosmetic stuff is incredible. It makes me very happy. So I think that's obviously a good thing. And I try not to abuse time, because you have to put in hours when it comes to this type of work. I'm in here very early. I stay very late. Right now I'm working 4 days a week, which is good, but I was working 5 days for a long time. But that's part of having a family, is making sure that you have some time off and dedicate certain time, just for my wife and I, just for the kids, or just for family time too. So anyway, I think it's good to do what makes you feel very happy and something that's rewarding and productive. So that's very important. But also it's like, you don't want to abuse the time of your family. You like I like to work out, and that's like everybody's asleep when that happens, because that's
Yeah.
just more time that I'd be taking away. So I don't know. You gotta just think about those things.
Yeah. Nice. Awesome, Rob. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being with us. But before we say goodbye, can you tell our listeners where they can find you?
So again, I'm in San Francisco. If you want to look me up, I am at Dr. Soto on Instagram, and that's like all you need to know. Okay, my website is SF as in San Francisco veneer.com. But go to my Instagram page if you want to see what's going on with me and what I'm working on.
Awesome. So, guys, that's going to be in the show notes below. So definitely check that out. And Rob, thank you so much for being with us. It was a pleasure, and we'll hear from you soon.
Appreciate it, man.